Today we are going to talk about my favorite, Sleeping Beauty. Sleeping Beauty is the Disney film that gives me the most nostalgia. Out of all the Disney films that I watched, I think this one gives me the most nostalgia. And it is also the very first Disney princess film that I have ever watched. And it truly has a very special place right here. After so many years of not having a child, the king and queen finally gave birth to a baby named Aurora. A holiday is proclaimed to pay homage to the princess. At her christening, Aurora is betrothed to Prince Philip, the son of King Stephen's closest friend King Hubert, to unite their kingdoms. According to my eyeballs, I think Prince Philip is a 5-year-old or maybe a 7-year-old. He's a little kid and he is looking at his future bride, who is still a baby. Isn't that the weirdest thing of all time? I mean, imagine you're looking at your future bride, and she is just a baby. The three fairies, Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather, came as guests to bless Aurora. Just take a look at this, man. These are the visions of my childhood. But Merryweather's gift was interrupted by the one and only Angelina Jolie. She's basically pissed that she wasn't invited to the party.
Oh dear, what an awkward situation.
So she casted a curse to Aurora. She does proclaim that Aurora will grow in grace and beauty, but before the sun sets on her 16th birthday, she shall prick her finger on the spindle of a spinning wheel
and die! Oh no!
The king and queen beg the fairies to undo the curse, but unfortunately they're not strong enough. Merryweather uses her magic to weaken the curse. Instead of dying, Aurora will fall into a deep slumber, only broken by true love's kiss. Now that is just classic. King Stephen orders to burn every single spinning wheel existing in the kingdom. The king and queen allowed the fairies to live with Aurora, as an attempt to hide from Maleficent. Aurora is renamed Briar Rose. And I honestly never knew that she is named Briar Rose. I thought it was just Rose, but Briar Rose? I honestly never knew that. 16 years later, the three fairies planned a surprise for Rose's 16th birthday. As they asked Rose to get some berries, she met Prince Philip for the first time. But Philip proclaims that they already have met.
Once upon a dream.
Once upon a dream. As she leaves, Rose invites him to the cottage later that evening. Meanwhile, the three fairies decided to use magic because I guess they suck in living a non-magic life. So they closed the windows, the doors, but not the goddamn chimney. You know, if Flora and Merryweather never argued about Rose's dress, none of this would have happened. If only they closed the chimney. If only they never argued about Rose's dress color. None of this would have happened. They would have succeeded. But no. They just had to argue about something very simple. Moving on. Thanks to that, Maleficent's pet raven now knows Aurora's location. And I could have sworn I thought that was a crow. The fairies finally told Rose that she is indeed a princess, already betrothed to a prince, and she must never see the man again. The fairies take Aurora to the castle to await her birthday, and be reunited with her parents. It is time to talk about everyone's favorite scene. You know, as a kid, this creeped me out. But right now, as a young adult, this does nothing to me. Except gives me so much nostalgia. Aurora pricks her finger, fulfilling the curse only moments before the sun sets. So they decided to put everyone in the kingdom to sleep until Aurora's spell is completely broken. Meanwhile, Flora overhears King Hubert sleep talking about Prince Philip. Thanks to that, they now know where and who Prince Philip is. But it was too late. The fairies rescue Philip, arming him with the magical sword of truth and shield of virtue. And now Maleficent's pissed, desperately tries to stop Philip. Eventually, Maleficent confronts him directly, transforming into an enormous black dragon. For 1959, this fight scene is incredibly epic. Philip throws the sword blessed by the fairies directly into Maleficent's heart. So now Philip gives Aurora the classic true love's kiss, breaking the spell and waking the kingdom. Aurora is finally reunited with her parents, and they lived happily ever after. And that, my friends, is Sleeping Beauty. Probably the best thing about this film is the animation. The animation is so incredible that you can literally pause this movie at any second and the image looks perfect. Because this film was meant to look like a painting. And they truly did a flawless job. The animation is just so damn incredible, especially for 1959. By the way, take a look at this scene right here. Flora protecting Philip from danger, like turning the boulders into bubbles, turning the arrows into flowers, and shielding Philip from toxic liquid by using rainbow, is basically a VR of a very old saying. Love conquers all. And that's basically the moral of the movie. Love conquers all. Now I know a lot of people can't stop saying that the characters are so boring, but that doesn't really bother me, because, hear me out. This is a fairy tale story. The characters are not the most important aspect of a fairy tale story. Not even the plot and the moral lesson. The most important aspect of a fairy tale story is the magic. That's what fairy tales are all about. They're just basic short stories with basic characters, basic plot, basic moral lesson, but the most important part to remember is that they are filled with magic. And I do think this film does an amazing job being magical, especially for 1959. I'm gonna give Sleeping Beauty a 9 out of 10. Now keep in mind, I'm giving this film a 9 out of 10 mostly because of sentimental value. Mostly every Disney fan considers Prince Eric from Little Mermaid to be the very first Disney prince with an actual personality. Well, I actually disagree with that. I do think that Prince Philip is the very first Disney prince that has an actual personality. And I also do think that he is underrated. And that concludes my thoughts on the original Disney Princess Trilogy. Yes, I just said original Disney Princess Trilogy, because Snow White, Cinderella, and Sleeping Beauty are so comparable. Because they existed way before the Disney Renaissance era started. They existed while Walt Disney was still alive. Oh, and not to mention, they all have the same book style intro. So yeah, these three are basically what I intend to call the original Disney Princess Trilogy. And I think Cinderella is the best film out of them all. And also Cinderella is the most interesting and likable character out of them all. But Sleeping Beauty is my favorite out of them all because, like I said, nostalgia. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. It really means a lot. You guys are the best. Tomorrow we are going to check out The Little Mermaid. See you next time, guys.